quickly. Willie Creighton says, please, Joe, don't forget to mention the craft fair in the sports complex in Hamor on Friday with the Creo Woodturners. And we'll have a stand there. We'll have a table for our charity, Foxford Alzheimer's. That's the Mayo Woodturners, Creo. And the feature with Willie Creighton talking about the beautiful wooden installation that they did this year, cooperatively together. 17 or 8 of them is coming right up now in a moment. Meal Boggies, Willie. Sometimes poetry and all kinds of stuff, visual art and everything. How much could you admire the Mayo Woodturners?
Tatu geistach le Midwest Radio, och réile 96.1 FM.
And Creighton, the founder and one of the great woodturners of the Creo, the Mayo Woodturners Association. And Willie, of course, they have their headquarters in Hamor, but Willie also has a very special class for them down in Coron Bui in the Eris Peninsula as well, in the Gaeltacht. And he works as Gaelge Chomáilishin. Met up with Willie recently and we had a great conversation. He was talking about the latest installation, the art installation that they made in wood, and they got huge praise altogether at the All-Ireland First. It's a stunning piece of work in all multi-coloured wood agus colour. But ishtimidly, Willie, and in and out we'll hear some beautiful music from a brilliant young musician from Castlebar, multi-instrumentalist Sal Heenachan.
Joe, we're back again 2023, and our piece this year for the national seminar was a wooden lathe made completely out of wood. So we decided that we'd go ahead with it and make it and use a variety of different woods. Now there was 14 or 15 of us involved in it, and Richard Barrett from Ballina, he said he'd come up with a few drawings and stuff like that, so he had sketches and measurements on them, and we took it from there. And then we had a meeting up in the old schoolhouse in Ahmore, and we decided that, break it down, who was going to make what. So I said I'd make the bed and the wheels, and I'd do a lot of bits and pieces as well. So we had Tom Jordan from O'Finn, and he made the headstock. Now there's a lot of work with the headstock. You have threaded pieces, and you have a pulley on the outside, and you have a hand wheel. So he came down here, I supplied all the wood to them, and Tom had it off, and he made the headstock, and that was grand. And then we had David Knox from Ballina. He made the tailstock. Now there's a lot of work with the tailstock because this moves in and out here, and you have a revolving centre on it here, and a lot of work with that as well.
What are the different woods that are used in that now, Willie?
Well, you have a variety of woods. On the headstock and tailstock you have ash, you have mahogany, you have poplar, and you have a layer of oak underneath here, and you have a mahogany hand wheel. And on the headstock you have ash and mahogany, the same again, and you have a hand wheel made out of yew. So that's what you have on the hand wheel. So then the bed, there was a lot of planning with this and how would we do it, and we had a few modifications to on it from the drawing. So it was the bed of days was laminated because the idea was that we used as many different types of woods as we could in the piece. So I laminated the bed. We had oak, we had walnut, we had 3mm birch ply, we had elm, and we had 15mm birch ply, and the same on the bottom, elm, walnut and oak. And that was made. Now there's a flat surface on it here, and to have it perfectly flat you have to put on what they call a paper joint and glue on a sacrificial piece of wood, and then you take that off, and you'll see a little tongue in it here where you plough on the little round piece for the headstock and tailstock to run on it.
The bed looks a little bit like a boat, Willie.
It does. That was the design of it, and there was a good, and we were restricted to the measurements. We had to have it maximum 750mm long, and it had to fit into 750mm high. And but look, we managed that all right. And Martin Wilson made spheres, himself and Pete Hallen, and they're made of oak.
There's 6 spheres there.
There's 6 spheres there, and the legs fit into, and they're 80 millimetres in diameter. And Swinford Turner Michael Maiden made the legs, so you're talking about different fellas making different pieces. And when you have a 30 mil hole, you have to have a 30 mil piece to fit into it, so it has to be very accurate. So that was their part of it there. And then Richard Barrett made the 2 spheres where the shaft goes through for driving the flywheel. And there's 2 100 mil spheres there, and 2 bits of Iroca that goes up into Pádraig Grealish made the Iroca pieces here that fit up into the thing, and he also made the shaft that connects the 2 spheres together.
Beautiful woods involved there in the spheres and in the Iroca, Willie.
Yeah, well, that's you know how Mayo got its name from the Cundaweo, the plane of the U. This is, and our chapter is called Creo. So this is U, the 2 spheres are U, and this wheel on the outer part here, the small wheel, Tom Jordan from Bofinon made the outer wheel, and that's made of U as well. And then Tom made this piece here, and this is another piece U that drives the lathe as well off the small wheel to drive the flywheel out here. So I came along and I made the flywheel. Now the flywheel, it's what you call segmented turning, because you have 3 layers of timber. You have a layer of ash in the middle, and on the outside you have mahogany and ash segments, and then you have in here a spalted beech centerpiece, and this cap here in mahogany covers the piece of wood coming out here. And that was, so I made the flywheel and this, and I also made these little plugs that you fit around, and different little knobs that fit on here.
A lathe entirely out of wood with all the different parts. You have an enormous amount of ancillary and extra pieces here which go along with the lathe, Willie, that are separate.
Well, when you get into wood turning, Joe, you buy a lathe, but there's a lot of accessories to go with it. So first of all, you have a faceplate here, and this man that made this, it's a faceplate made out of oak and Iroca, and it's threaded here.
Of course, normally that's made of steel.
Made of steel, but this is all wood. So a guy from Crossmalina that made this, I'll get his name in a minute for you, Joe, and Declan O'Boyle, he's from just outside Crossmalina. It was Declan that made this piece. He's only maybe turning for the last year and a half or so.
It's very beautiful. Yeah, and he threaded that middle piece as well. He threaded
that middle piece as well. So it's an excellent piece of work, perfectly flat, and it'll work just as a steel faceplate. Yeah. Here we have a turntable. Now the turntable itself was made by a new member to our club. He's an Englishman, and Andrew Reeve is his name, and he made the turntable along with the help of Tom Jordan from Bofinon, and it's made out of you have a lot of different woods in this. You have oak, you have mahogany, you have yew for the handle up on top here, you have ash, you have cherry, you have poplar, and you have walnut.
And this is holding 9 or 10 chisels, Willie.
Yeah, this is holding all the chisels. So all the chisels that were made here. We have another new member. She came back from England, and she's living out in Ahagower and outside Westport. And we asked her would she be interested in making the tools, and she's a fantastic wood turner, and she made all the chisels here, Joe.
There must be 10 of them or more.
There is, yes. You have a 12mm spindle gouge, you have a 10mm spindle, you have a skew chisel, you have a rough and down gouge, you have a parting tool, and you have a scraper. And they're all designed on the Sorby tool. If you look at the workshop on the wall there, you'll see Sorby tools, and they're designed, and they're mahogany, ash, and the fertile is walnut.
The fertile is walnut.
So, yeah,
beautiful there between the mahogany and the ash.
And the ash. And you have yew on top, and there's a combination of different woods there like that.
Marvellous too how it was, those tools would be associated with men for hundreds and hundreds of years, thousands of years, and that a woman actually created them and made them from wood.
Yeah, well, in Creo we're accepting all nationalities of every breed and creed, and there's no distinction between anyone. We like to get as many, and at the moment we have 55 members. So it's great to see it, and woodturning is on the up. So this is a knockout bear, and we have two of those. David Knox made one of them, and I made this one. This is a piece of ebony, which is very scarce now. And
the concert flutes were made from that wood.
And the keys of the piano made from ebony and ivory. I think there's a song about it, Joe.
You won't sing it this morning, will you?
I won't sing it this morning, no, because Tommy Kusuleshon Preochan. So you have tulip wood, you have walnut, and you have ash. And it's a nice piece of even on its own.
It's very beautiful, Willie. Yeah. It's like a door knob, with very elaborate, and then the long stick of ebony. Did you mention tulip wood there?
Tulip, yeah.
Talk to me about tulip wood.
Tulip wood, it's a very tall tree. You get it. It's grown in Canada, and it's a very it's rare enough to get it here now, but I'm a member of the International Wood Collectors Society, so I have lots of variety of woods, and I have a great interest in timber because, it's a great medium to work with. And that's what tulip wood is. And then even on the lathe here we have a piece of pink ivory, which is it's as scarce as hen's teeth. And it comes from South America. It's a beautiful wood, and it's an expensive wood. For a piece maybe a foot long by inch and a half square, you'd be talking about maybe €45 for it.
Gosh. Yeah. Again, for the listeners, it looks like a beautiful doorknob, and because of the lovely roundness and different oval shapes in it, it comes up lovely in the light, Willie.
Oh, it does. And you see there's a piece of inserted into it is a piece of walnut which is threaded, and then you have a piece of African blackwood to decorate it a little bit more, Now, Joe, this was a very complicated piece to make. It's made from boxwood, mahogany, bog oak, maple, and boxwood. And all these little pieces here, Joe, thread apart. So you can take this off here like this and thread it.
Like a bolt and screw.
Bolt and screw, yeah. But you see, because see the fine thread, and you have this was made by a man from Crossmine, Patrick Mundley, and Patrick isn't that long turning, maybe 2.5 years, and
there are 8 of those beautiful bolts on a circular piece of wood.
And the threading like this. Now, the reason that they're made out of because boxwood, as you know, all the old traditional rules that's on the wall there, Joe, were made from boxwood, and it's a good, very hard wood, and it threads very well, and that threads in there like that. And believe it or not, where this comes out, there's a little cap on the end of that, believe it or not, to cover the boxwood from coming through. And you have boxwood here, and you have a piece of bog oak. This is called a longworth chuck, and this fits up on a lathe, and it's for finishing the bottom of bowls so that you can grip it. And when they open up like that, they're like that, this expands in and out on the track. So
they're trapped between the two pieces of wood.
And they're trapped between the two pieces of wood. So you'd have it like that, and when you have it up on the lathe, this opens in and out like that, you see, Joe. So and you can grab a bowl here to clean up the bottom of it.
But you can also adjust the lovely bowls. If you could describe for the listeners, Willie, how the circular pieces of wood are cut in the shape of a tree, or
there's a circular piece, and there's a line of holes on the outside, and then there's arches swung. Now, and
the bowls can move along the arches in and out.
It's a curved section, and it's ploughed out, and it's very precision work now. Concentrating
now on the tools you made out of wood as well to go with the actual lathe, Willie. There's a beautiful, what we call one time for boozing the Cali, a pounder there, Willie.
Well, this is a mallet, and the guy that made this is only about maybe a year and a half. Dennis O'Donnell, from originally from Mulranny, but now living in out near Pontoon. And Dennis, he said, sure, I won't be able to make anything. I said, look, I said, don't be underestimating yourself, Dennis. I said, you'll make a mallet. I said, so gave him a rough sketch, and he went off and he came back with that, and sure, I wouldn't do it as good myself, Joe.
It's stunning, Willie.
It's absolutely.
And the handle fits in smoothly onto the fat part of the mallet. Yeah. What lovely woods are there? The handle is light wood.
The handle is a piece of red deal, and the head of it is a piece of Sipilli mahogany. So it's nice mahogany, and again, mahogany is getting scarce enough too. So it's a lovely piece of work, and even it's very tactile very tactile to hold it. You can feel it there yourself, Joe.
Oh, excellent, Willie. Yeah. Back to the days of making the Cali and the potatoes. Yeah. It would make the most beautiful small Cali.
Even the finish. Now all the finishing was done by one man, by the panel beater Ian McDougall. And sure, Joe, if a fly landed on that, he'd probably break his leg. You know,
it's so smooth and slippery, like the dance hall and touring.
That's right, Jan.
In the good old days.
We have this other piece here. We have a man, Paddy Fardell from out Gorchke, outside Crossmalina, or near Crossmalina, and Paddy, I said, Paddy, you'll make a piece. What'll I make? I'm not long turning. I said, sure, look what I said. You'd make the Bradall, Paddy. You know what a Bradall is. And Paddy went to me, and I gave him the wood, and he made an oak handle, walnut stem on it, and mahogany furtle. And Joe, wouldn't you think it was the real thing?
Absolutely. For a Bradall, it's like a large screwdriver.
Yes, like a large screwdriver. And the lady that made the tools was Louise Wilde. She's only a member since last April, but she had been turning, and she was out in America, did a course, and she's a great asset now to our chapter. She's our new secretary, actually. So she made all the tools, and Ian McDougall did the finishing on them, and he did the finishing on them. So Andrew Reeves and made the turntable himself, and
for to hold the different chisels and so on.
Yeah. So then we come along, Joe.
Willie, two separate tools, dark wooded.
Yeah, well, it's funny, people used to be joking years ago, and they'd be sending you off for a round square, but this actually is a round square. It's to find the centre of a piece of wood. This is a 45-degree angle on it here, and you put it in the wood, and then you draw a line through the diagonal, and then you do the opposite. So that finds the centre of a piece of wood. Again, the man that made the mallet, Dennis O'Donnell, he said, what else will I make? He was getting anxious then at this stage. So I said, look, if you make a centre finder. So he went away, and I explained to him roughly what a centre finder, and this is what he came back. An excellent piece of work.
It looks like it's very beautiful, Willie. It looks actually like a narrow, a wide arrow, and then you have this cutting in the middle of it to help you get the centre point.
And then you have the 90-degree angle here, and that fits in on your timber. It'll get the centre of a round, circular, or diagonal, or rectangular piece. So that's what it's called.
The interesting dark implement or tool you have here.
This is a very interesting piece. Now, the man that made this, he went away, and he made the compass, and everything is made out of wood. And but the interesting thing about this piece of wood is it's Brazilian mahogany, and this was taken up off in the docks in New York Harbour. That was the colour of it actually. It's mahogany, but you can see that mahogany is this colour and this colour. But this would be down in the
darker wood,
where it was down, and then in the ocean. It was there for years, and they pulled it up. But Liam Horton that made this, father of James Horton, the Mayo, the previous manager of the Mayo team. So, this is what they call spindle turn. There's a lot of work with this.
Like you see in the legs of a very fancy chair.
And you have your beads and your coves on it, and it works perfect. You can see it there, Joe.
It opens in and out as a rigid compass.
A rigid compass, and it's a wonderful piece of work, and that's what Liam Horton made. So.
listening to the wonderful harp and fiddle playing and music of Sal Heenahan and indeed other members of her family as well there. That lovely slow piece, listener wondered, the first piece she played there is called The Old Bow, and Jimmy McBride is the tune she's playing at the moment there. And we heard Manal in Lathe and Gert Namona as well, and The Fisherman's Island and Laura's Reel. And of course Willie Creighton talking to us and telling us about this beautiful wooden art piece that they created, installation that they created for the competition in that's held annually. 17 or 18 members of Creo involved in it, and scores and scores of parts to be made, and 9 or 10 or 12 different types of wood being used. This is Joe, marvellous how Willie can describe all the dimensions and all the types of wood and all the colours right from the top of his head. The man is a genius. Thank you very much for that, Lester. And Brendan Nugent was into the studio to say he knows Willie Creighton, and he's an absolute gifted wood turner. Going to meet him, I get the Shen Rendon. And lovely message here all the way from Boston for you, Willie. It says, "Hi, Willie Creighton. Willie, listening to you over here in Boston. Jenny McCormack's son, Jerry. And keep up the great work." Willie, of course, a wonderful man indeed. Another list is Joe. It's absolutely fascinating listening to Willie. I'm trying to visualise it as best I can, all the lovely colours of the wood and all that kind of stuff. And he's gifted coordinating the whole thing. Thank you very much. He is indeed. And another list is Joe. Willie must have the patience of Job to be dealing with those of us I went for a while and I had to give it up. I was spoiling more than I was making. But Willie was extremely patient with us all the time. But he must have the patience of Job, trying to persuade and get the 17 or 18 involved to do their pieces. But no doubt help them along. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Gomila. Another list is Joe Gajas, Willie Creighton Chrystal Ereneir, Agus Gailge Jessica Willie Homilishin. And I want to say big hello to Porticus and Murhu and to Catherine down on the peninsula. They love Willie, of course. He spent some time down there working, and Willie worked with Portic's uncles and did work down on the peninsula many years ago. Nudivision a lad agus nudivision shin sa gweiltocht chomai ag fólum na Gailge. Agus hello Livshi Homilishin. And I then went on, if I remember rightly, to ask Willie another little bit about how the work is going for him at the moment. Willie, I presume you're busy doing classes in all kinds of places and with different people.
Yeah, well, here in the workshop tonight, Joe, I have 5 for a class. I have never did any wood turning before. I have a local man, Bernie Lathe. I have 2 retired Garda, from one from Swinford, one from Turbercurry, and I have a young lad from near outside Clamars, and I have another man from Ballavary. So that's on tonight, and as soon as they finish up, I have to pack the van with tools and lathes and equipment, and I'm heading for Care down in Tipperary. I go around to different schools, so I'm upskilling what they call technical teachers now, because they do metal work and plastic, and they're technical teachers, but I'm upskilling them in wood turning, because when they go out to college, they do the leaving cert, they come out with their degree, but they do very little practical work. They have a lot of theory and everything, which is good, but the hand skills is, so that's where I'm coming in. And last year I went around the country and I upskilled 300 different teachers, and this year I was in Donegal, I was in Kildare, and I'm heading down to Care in Tipperary, and on the 1st and 2nd of December I have 16 teachers coming to the workshop, 8 on the Friday and 8 on the Saturday, and it's great to see young teachers taking part. I had a young lad here, he's just teaching in Dublin now, his first year out, from the parish here, Oisin Boland, and a friend of his from Ballycastle. So the 2 of them came here for an evening's course with me, and it's good to see that there's young people interested in this, because it's a dying craft, and we don't want to lose the skills, not alone in wood turning, but we're a shortage of apprentices. Everyone need a house, and they need a roof on it, and they need doors hanging, so there's different aspects. When I was serving my time, I served my time as a joiner, and then I went out on a site carpentry, and then I went in cabinet making, and then I took up wood in the latter years, and you know, it's very relaxing, the wood turning, because it's good therapy. I had few people here that had strokes, and when your hand starts to work, the stroke nurse was telling me that your brain starts to work. So it's very relaxing and very rewarding and very therapeutic. Now, when I started off wood turning, I wasn't great, but you know, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start in order to become great. And hard practice hides the difficulty of the skill. So that's about it, Joe.
Beautiful message here from Mike Convoy. Fascinated listening to Willie. What a talented, knowledgeable gentleman to have living in our midst in Ahamore. Looking forward to seeing the beautiful Lathe and the other fabulous pieces on Friday night. We will have to get Willie to have a go at making a Fado War, which I'm sure will be no bother to him and to his team, considering the set skills they have acquired under Willie's guiding master's hand. So, wooden flute for Ahamore and from the hands of Willie Creighton, played by the fingers and hands of Mike Convoy. Isn't that a lovely one, Willie? Sal Henachin, a great, beautiful, and of course one of the great Mayo men as well, has been one of the greatest harp makers for the last 30 years or more. Paddy Carfoghy from Aughadeffin in the parish of Kilmavee, living in Loughrea for many years, but a great Mayo man and making beautiful harps. Leisha Kelly and all the big names, and everyone plays his harps. They're absolutely stunning. And Willie, by the way, is also involved in a poster, the Edge poster, which is on display in all work environments in schools with wood teachers and so on across Ireland. Willie's the man who's featured on that, and there's a WhatsApp that can be got in relation to safety from those posters on the wall, and lovely photographs of Willie as well. So you'll see him in all the woodwork and in all those places in the secondary schools all across Ireland. Can all ask Willie to just Willie a question an air, Joe, agus far on special their father. You know, the list says, Joe, isn't it beautiful how they have called the chapter, the Mayo chapter, Creo. Creo, of course, the lovely word for a branch. And the first president of Ireland, says the listener, was called on Creevin Evening, the beautiful branch that was Douglas Hyde from Portahord outside Balachaderi. Thank you so much for that, listener. And another one says, Joe, Willie is Willie is a ubiquitous man. He is indeed a multi-talented man, and great to hear that the ladies are involved as well. I loved the fact that you emphasised there that it was amazing that a lady had made all the various tools entirely out of wood, chisels and so on, which were of course solely in the hands of men for so many years. Got a meal of mine, sister, for that one. Thank you very, very much. And just to say that there's a message coming through, I think, from Willie at the moment. Yeah, I just have another one here. The Willie sent me a message yesterday. He said, Joe, could you please mention, if you don't mind, that Pat O'Malley made the steady for the Lathe and Sean Marley made the calipers. Thank you very much for that. I'm sure, Willie, you mentioned that at some point, but in the various editing and stitching and chopping, those names obviously were eliminated or vanished into the ether. Here's reels coming up. Dr. Gilbert's Bonnie Case and Music in the Glen from the wonderful Salhin. And Willie has asked me to mention that the craft fair in the sports complex in Ahamore is on Friday with the Creo Woodturners, and they will have a stand there, and we have a table for our charity, Foxford Alzheimer's. Thank you very, very much, Willie. And please give my buddy in the Real Brave you mentioned, Willie says again, I will indeed, Willie, and there it is, Peter Howley, of course, a marvellous character indeed. It says, hi Joe, listening to you and really enjoying Willie Creighton on the programme. He's a fantastic man and so talented at wood turning. My late dad, Bill Padden from Ballina-Bunnyconlon, was a member of the Creo Woodturners Guild, and I have so many lovely pieces he made. I treasure them all. Thank you very, very much for that, and some of them are coming up there on the screen. Some beautiful pieces, candle holders and clocks. Agus quite a horse machine. Thank you so much, listener, for sharing that with us. Got a meal of Another